So let's ask the big question, is the falling rupee good or bad for India? The honest answer is it's more bad and a little good. Confused? Let me explain you why. So let's talk about the good part first. A weaker rupee can help the exporters, IT companies, pharma, textiles, business services. They become cheaper in the global market. Hence, they become more competitive. But here's the part that nobody says out loud. The rupee's weakness is not a thought out strategy that the RBI has been putting out successfully. It is actually the result of India's high trade deficit, especially with China and the oil imports. Of course, it helps our exporters, but at the same time, rupee depreciation makes our imports more expensive. And that means each year quietly, life in India becomes expensive too. Expensive oil, expensive medicines, and expensive electronics. So yes, slow depreciation helps the exporters, but the long-term depreciation, the kind of depreciation that India has maintained for the past 60-70 years does more damage. Let's also compare India with true export powerhouses like China and Germany. Countries like China, Germany, Japan, South Korea didn't become rich only by relying on the strategy of weakening their currencies year after year. They did one more thing which India is missing badly. They combined controlled depreciation of their currency with industrial muscle. They built massive manufacturing capacity, control over supply chains, high value exports, world leading productivity, and global brands and technology. To give you a context, here's a chart which compares the Indian rupee with the Chinese yuan over the past 35 years. So since 1990, the Indian rupee has weakened by over 429%. For 17 INR to now almost 90 INR to buy $1 US, while the Chinese yuan has weakened by just 50%. So both currencies fell, but the scale is not even comparable. China had more controlled depreciation than India. And you know the reason. China built factories, they built supply chains, they built global brands. They became the manufacturing house of the world. And for India, rupee slide or this continuous slide for the past 60-70 years is more like a band-aid and less like a strategy. We need urgent actions to shorten our trade deficit, serious spending in manufacturing, R&D and innovation. And that brings us to the final truth. A rupee's fall isn't a crisis yet. It isn't a collapse yet. But it is also a reminder that India's strategy should not be a rupee that falls every year, like it has fell 3 to 5% every year since independence and even before. It should be an economy strong enough that the rupee rises not because the RBI pushed it, but because the world genuinely wants Indian goods, Indian technology, Indian manufacturing and Indian innovation. Like it happens in China, Chinese central bank has to intervene to keep the Chinese yuan low as compared to the US dollar, so that the Chinese exports are competitive in the world market and in the USA. But with India, it is less about strategy and more about our weakness in trade deficits. So this is the real health of the Indian currency.